Hi friends, in this video I am going to explain about architecture of Unix. This is very important concept in Unix fundamentals. See, if you observe this diagram, we have a application programs and shell and kernel and a hardware. Okay, first I am going to talk about shell. Basically, shell is a command line interpreter. We can call it as CLI. Okay, here whatever the commands after installing OS, Unix operating system, we will get a terminal. Basically, we can call it as shell. We can execute the Unix commands here. The shell acts as a interface between user, means whoever entering the commands, and the kernel. So that's why in the diagram it is showing CPP, SH and bash, and we have commands and we have a different types of shells like bash shell, corn shell, C shell. These are the shells. Uh, the second one, if you go to above, kernel is a part of the operating system. It interacts directly with the computer hardware. That means whatever the command you have entered in the shell doesn't interact with hardware. In between shell and hardware, we have a kernel. So kernel takes the commands whatever you entered from the shell, okay, and it will send to the hardware, and it allocates time and memory and everything, and it will respond from the hardware. The kernel will receive that response from hardware and send to the shell. So kernel is a heart of the Unix operating system. If you go to hardware devices of computer or any other hardware, about the application programs or utilities, it provides the user level functionality. So ultimately, the architecture is divided into four parts. One is application programs, the second one is shell and kernel and hardware. This is architecture of Unix, and uh, every operating system has a file system. If you go for Windows operating system, it's a FAT32 and NTFS are the file systems. But in Linux also, we have a file system. In Unix or Linux, it stores everything as a file. Okay, a file is the basic structure used to store the information. In Unix, we have three different types of files. One is regular file or ordinary file. Like for example, an ordinary file can contain only ASCII characters, such as text programs and everything. Directory files. Directory is a file that holds other files. That means inside the directory we can create the multiple files. Okay, special files represents a physical device. For example, in Unix terminology, in we create a directory. In Windows, we can call it as new folder. If you want to create any directory in Windows, you can go for right click and new folder. But here we can call it as directory, but everything Unix stores as a file. Yeah. Thanks for watching.